Hello everyone. Today we will start a new chapter of biology, chapter number 15, reaching the age of adolescence. The previous chapter that we had done in biology was reproduction in animals, and this chapter is something related to that. So let's start the chapter. So in this chapter we will discuss about the age of adolescence, when human being reach at the age of adolescence. So we will discuss about the term adolescence also in this chapter. Living organisms reproduce to increase their number and maintain their species. Species means the same kind of organism in nature. Most living organisms are able to reproduce only after a certain age in their life cycle. So as you know, in the previous chapter we had discussed that living organisms reproduce by two different methods, sexual and asexual mode of reproduction. Here we will discuss about the sexual mode of reproduction. So living organisms reproduce to increase their number. That means when they do reproduction, then their number will increase, and they maintain their species, because after their death someone related or someone of their kind will remain in the nature. So they maintain their species in nature. So what is the significance of reproduction? What you can say, what are the advantages of reproduction? Either a lot of advantages are there that you will discuss in your higher classes, but first one, after reproduction number will increase and the species will maintain. So some organisms reproduce only after a certain age. After a certain age there are some kind of changes which make them unable to reproduce. The life cycle of human beings consists of three main stages of development. First is childhood, then adulthood, and then old age. These are the three main, you can say, stages of development in the life cycle of human being. Adolescence. What is adolescence? Adolescence is a transitional stage that occurs between childhood and adulthood. So this is a kind of stage which occurs between childhood and adulthood. Means between these two stages there is a stage where physical and mental human development takes place. Physical development as well as mental development. That means a person is going to be changed physically and mentally. So that is known as adolescence. The term adolescence is derived from a Latin word adolescer, which means to grow into maturity. That means the person become mature. And in this graph you can see here mass and age. As soon as the age is going to increases, the mass is also increases. So initially during the childhood stage this change is not very much, you can say, sudden, but during the adolescence this change is increases remarkably basically. So this particular in between 12 to 14 to 18, 12 to 14 to 18, that means 13. From the age of 13 to 18, this is an approximate idea. It is not a fixed number of age that in this age the development will take place, sometime greater than, sometime less than, or sometime more than that. So after in between 13 to 18 there will be change in human body, and these changes are responsible, or you can say enable, the human being to do reproduction. So this is adolescence. Before this age a person is child, after this age the person becomes adult. So it is an area, it is a stage between childhood and adulthood. Then what happened after that? I want to show this thing to you. It is the time, basically it is the time of rapid development of growing towards sexual maturity. A person is going to mature sexually, discovering more about one's self and recognizing and defining personal values. In this age, the student who are discussing this chapter, basically we are discussing about your age, means you are adolescent. So discovering more about one's self, a person realizing about his or her personal value, start to recognize his or her you can say behavior. So this is a change in which one's self, discovering one's self and recognizing and defining personal values. An adolescent is neither a child nor an adult, because it, as I told you, it is a stage between childhood and adulthood. It is a period from about 12 to 18 year of age of a human being. During the initial phase of adolescence, there are changes in the body, means physical changes. The adolescents become aware of the physical changes they are going through. Obviously, when the physical changes are going into the body, then the person become aware about the changes. We will discuss about those changes, that what are those changes, then you can relate it with you more, comparatively more. This phase is between 12 to 15 years. Adolescent period is from 12 to 18, but during the initial phase of this stage, there are physical changes only. So this is from 12 to 15 years of age. That is the early adolescent period. These changes mark the onset of puberty. Onset means starting of puberty. So puberty means changes that occurs into the body of the human being during the early adolescent period. Puberty lasts several years, during which rapid physical growth and some psychological changes occurs. Physiological changes occurs. These lead to sexual maturity. When these changes occur, then they lead to sexual maturity, means first physical growth and then finally the person becomes sexually mature. This means that the individual becomes capable of reproduction. So as I told you that in human being there is a particular age of reproduction. So during that time, means after these changes, the person becomes capable of reproduction. The word puberty is derived from a Latin word pubertas, which means age of manhood. That means the person becomes mature physically as well as mentally. So the person become a man. It does not mean that we are not talking about the female. Manhood is just a kind of you can say a maturity. Even it may be in the male or it may be in the female. That means we are not discussing about only and only man. The average onset of puberty is at around 10 years of age for girls and 12 years for boys. Again I am saying it is just an estimate. It is not a fixed number. Sometime it may be changed. So 10 year is the puberty age for man, that means boy, and 12 year for 10 year for girl and 12 years for boys. Every person's individual timetable for puberty is influenced primarily by heredity. Heredity means what kind of puberty their parents faces. Yeah, what kind of pattern of puberty. which pattern of puberty was present in their parents. So that basically that is heredity. In addition, environmental factors, they also affect the timetable of puberty. Timetable of puberty means this time. As I told you, it is not a fixed value, it may change. So this change depends on heredity, environmental factors such as diet and exercise. So they also have quite some influences. So these are the influences that may be on the timetable of puberty. So in the next session we will discuss further of this chapter. Till then, have a nice day. Goodbye.